All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Courage to Live Your Dreams. We are a show where we talk about just about anything. As I've let you know before, it could be on the subject of motivation, confidence, how to start a business, astrology, books, because you know I love books. So, whatever the subject that comes up, and I have an interest in it, we will be discussing on this show. So, because I don't tell you in advance what it is, you are going to have to check in every week to make sure you don't miss something that could be of vital importance to you. Today, we have a very special guest. Her name is Ruby Figueroa, and Ruby is a travel agent. But more important than that, Ruby has a message that she wants to share, especially to our young people. So I'm going to have Ruby share with us how she got started in the travel business and then tell us about the special youth group that you would like to work. I said youth group, I meant young people that you would like to work with.
Well, LaWanna, thank you for having me. And when I say young people, I mean anybody under 70 is young for me.
You and me both.
I'm 81, so anybody under 70 is young. But how I got started in the travel industry, somebody said to me before, you're always traveling. You love to travel. You should be in the business. And I thought about it and I said, it makes sense. If I like doing what I like doing and other people also want to do that, it sounds like a great business for me. And that's how I got started.
Well,
Just as simple as that.
you make it sound so easy to just make the decision and then get started. Uh, is there a lot involved? For example, big investment, some training. What's involved to get started on a travel business?
Actually, it is really as simple as your liking to do something that other folks want to do. Because I say to people all the time, if you like travel, then you should definitely be in the industry, because travel, as you know, is has become one of the largest industries in the world. It is absolutely fun, it is educational, and it is very lucrative. So I say to young people, because what I've found is young people want experiences, they don't want things. For instance, I can't give my children my crystal because they don't want it. And you probably know what I'm talking about. We accumulated things because we thought that was what we were supposed to do, but they don't want things. They want to experience things. So that's why I'm constantly looking for young people. But you asked me, is there a large investment? No, there is not a large investment at all. The investment is your time. It's your time that you invest in, and anything that you're going to do and do well, you need to invest in it. And I always say to people, work as hard for yourself as you would for somebody else. Work as hard for yourself as you would for somebody else, because so often we get involved in things and we don't take it seriously. We just sort of let things happen. No, any successful business cannot just happen. You have to put effort into it. But the one thing about this industry, when you're putting that emphasis into it, you're getting to travel. The first time I traveled, LaWanna, was uh, almost 50 years ago.
Mhm.
Our son, who is going to be 49 on July 31st of next year, my husband went to Switzerland, where he went to Europe. And I asked the doctor if I could travel. And he said, yes, you can go to Europe. And I went to Europe with him when he was 5 weeks old.
Oh.
And I would just get out every morning, and I had him on my chest because that's how I carried him. And I would get on the public transportation, and I just loved it. And we went from Switzerland, we went to Germany, then we went on to the UK, and I was hooked.
So did you take many pictures that you could create a journal?
I didn't at the time, I didn't even think about it. We have some, but I didn't think about it. It was just so exciting for me to be able to get out from the hotel, because he would always be at his place where he was doing some training for something. And I would just go out, and it was such an experience because, at that time, the only time they saw Black people in Europe were if they were military.
Oh,
So they always thought that I was military,
mhm.
and they were fascinated because I had a huge afro. And they would actually walk up and touch my hair, you know, but I understood it, and I didn't get upset about it, and they would just pull the baby's things from around him just to look at him, and they were just fascinated with us.
Well, you're talking about in Europe. I remember when I went to a little small city in Illinois, Decatur,
Mhm.
Illinois, and everybody in town knew who I was because I was the only woman in town wearing an afro. I, I had come there for a visit with some friends, and I
Uh-huh.
ended up staying. And the lady that I was staying with kept telling me, "You need to change that hairstyle. People don't wear their hair like that." Oh my gosh, that brings back so many memories.
I
But
know,
but we're here to talk about your traveling business.
right.
With COVID, have you seen a deep, well, they say that COVID is going away, but you can't tell it on my end. It seems like out here we keep getting new cases.
Mhm.
Has the traveling started picking up? Are you getting business now, or are they still a little leery about going
Some
anywhere?
some people are a little leery, but I actually have 5 trips
Mhm,
booked for next year because people have decided that they want to travel. And
mhm,
you've heard that the airports are full.
mhm,
The airlines are booking again, double booking people again. So people have actually started to travel. They are going. Now, my first entry into entrepreneurship was not travel.
mhm,
I got involved in entrepreneurship because well, as I said, we had 2 children, and I decided I wanted to be home. And so I started doing in the home demonstrations for an old company called Stanley Home Products. And most of the young folks have never heard of Stanley Home Products.
That is an old one,
It's an
yes.
old one. And I did in the home demonstrations, but I did them. And every time I would go into a lady's house, I would say to her, "I'm here to work for you tonight. And if you're interested in getting into the business, I'm working for you. You're going to get the monies for tonight, and and we would say, book the parties for the next one with the lady." And that's how I got started. And I went from doing that to one of 12 region vice presidents in the entire company, and,
Wow.
and the only Black one. But that was because I always knew that you're only going to earn so much money with your own 2 hands.
Mhm,
I also knew I couldn't sell to everybody. I would never meet everybody.
mhm,
And I do the same thing with travel. When I started in the travel industry, and I fully got started in 2018, because I was in from 2008, but I was still traveling with Stanley Home Products. I had territory that ran from Maine through Ohio. So
Wow. You mean to tell me that Stanley is still in business?
not anymore. That's why 2018 I transitioned fully to travel because Stanley went out of business. Stanley was an old company that couldn't keep up with what's going on today. You and I know that people don't they don't care for things the way they used to. I
Oh,
mean,
that's
we had brooms that would last 15 or 20 years. Well, now folks just go and get another one and another one. We had products that were concentrated and they go to the store and they'll buy the dollar products, not realizing that they're losing a lot more by buying them, but that's what has happened.
mhm,
So I got fully entrenched in travel in 2018, and I love to travel, but I love traveling more with people. I like taking people with me on vacation because it's just such an experience and it's just such joy because people like to travel and they like to travel with other people. Most folks won't think of going to Africa by themselves. I've gone to Africa 5 times and I've taken groups with me each time that I've gone.
mhm.
We got back in the country on March 13th of 2020, and there were a group of 32 of us. We went to South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Botswana. And the reason, LaWanna, that I like taking people with me is because I never have to pay for my vacation.
Well, that is a great reason to do that, but it's also a way to have more enjoyment because you can point things out to one another and discuss them. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing Africa, but I gotta tell you, I am not a person to get on a plane. I'm sorry. And I'm not getting on a cruise ship either because ooh, I had a bad experience with water that just not gonna do it.
You mean
Sorry about that.
you mean you won't go to Africa with me?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You take some pictures, do some movies, and get on Zoom, and I'll look at it with you. Yes, my children get after me about that very thing. I had one son wanted to pay for me to come over to Pearl Harbor when he was stationed over there, and
Mhm.
I turned him down. I told him as soon as they build a road, I drive over there. You know, I'd be happy to come over there. And then I had 2 sons that was stationed in Germany, and they tried to get me to come, and no, 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 no. And another one whose wife used to win trips, cruise trips all the time, and and they kept trying to get me to go with them all the time. No, 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 you guys have a wonderful time. I'll stay here. You can bring back the pictures, and I'll just enjoy it just as much watching those pictures. Mhm.
Well, no, I love to travel. And my husband and I have been traveling, as I say, for more than 50 years. And well, it's going to be 50 years in July of next year. And we have a cruise going to Alaska to celebrate our 50th anniversary with a group going with us. So those are the kinds of things that I like to do. I like getting out with others and really enjoying.
Wow. Now I would love to see Alaska. Oh my gosh. Every time I see the advertisement about Alaska and I think, oh, it must be so beautiful there.
It
It's the
is.
last frontier for
It
us, you know,
is.
and
It is.
oh, to be a part of history, like just going to visit is would be
Yeah.
amazing to me.
And this
But
will be our second trip to Alaska
uh,
because we took a group there before. And we're taking another group again because we thought about it. We said, you know what? This is our 50th anniversary.
mhm.
Let's take some people to Alaska with us. And we've got a group going.
Oh, I know I'm missing out on so much. It's a shame. But
Well,
you should
think
take some
about it.
great pictures because you know what? I'm sure there are others like me who, a little leery about getting on planes and whatnot. In fact, I thought I had this great idea. And I thought because they have the Queen Mary down in Long Beach, and I thought, why don't they take a yacht? It doesn't necessarily have to be that one. It could be anywhere. And do all the simulation as if it was actually going out to sea. We have all the amenities that you guys enjoy when you're out there on that cruise ship. Enjoy the meals and everything else. Just let the ship stay stationary.
Don't move, don't move.
Oh wow. I am just amazed at anyone that does that. But you are a person who started very on realizing that you needed to be in business for yourself. And you not only realized, but you stepped out there and you did something about it.
Right.
What would you tell someone who is thinking about it, sitting on the fence, coming up with all kinds of reasons why they shouldn't, and yet they want it so badly? What would you tell that person?
Well, I would tell first, I say to people, have you ever dreamed of traveling to one of your bucket list destinations and you want to know how to have somebody else pay for it for you? And so, but seriously, I would tell them, hey, it works. It works because if you want to do something, the chances are pretty good there are other people who want to do it also.
Mhm,
And as I say, I want young people. I want young people because you've heard me say before that they are the ones that have the children. They are the ones that are the teachers. They are the counselors. They are the football or basketball coaches and whatever. They're dealing with the young children. And LaWanna, I am firmly convinced that our children don't do as well as so many others because they don't travel.
mhm,
And if children don't travel, they tend to get mired around down in the minutia of
mhm,
what's going on around them. So when I told you we took our children traveling, and not only did we take our children, but if we were going someplace and it didn't cost any more money, for instance, we went to Maine for 11 years in a row, and we took our children there because somebody my husband worked with would give us a cabin on the lake and
mhm.
a boat on the lake. Well, Black children didn't get to do this. So we would take our children, but we would have each one of them bring a friend with them.
Mhm.
And the reason was because, hey, it gave us more freedom because they had somebody to entertain them while we were doing whatever we wanted to do.
Mhm.
But those are the kinds of things that children do. And I tell people, because I had a brick and mortar in New York for a number of years, and I would say to them, listen, just take the children on the subway, go downtown, put them on the circle line. And I know you're not going to get on there, LaWanna, but just put them on the circle line and have them go around New York. It just makes a difference in the lives of children when
What is
they,
the circle line before we?
the circle line is one of those ships that sail around the city. People go on it, yeah. And you might like something like that
Yeah,
because
actually,
they don't go out in the ocean. They just sail around the city and come back. It takes about 2 or 3 hours,
mm,
but it makes a difference to children what to do just those sort of things because
I actually have done that. We have,
yeah,
um, in Old Sacramento, we have a ship, I forget what it's called, and it would travel only so far out and then
right.
turn around and come back in. And the job I was working on, we were doing what we call office week, where we had all of the employees from other states would come in, and we had our little meetings, but it usually would last a week, and we would have all these things that they could do. Well, this particular time, this was one of the things that our meeting planner set up for us to do. I was not going to get on there. I cannot believe two people took me by each arm and somebody behind me pushed me and made me sure I got on. But I do have to admit, I enjoyed the ride.
Right.
It was nice, you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Little things like that can make a difference in the
Mhm,
life of a child.
mhm,
Our daughter rather, is a social worker, and she
mhm,
works with the homeless. And they, of course, are the most vulnerable children around.
mhm. Yes.
And she's always looking for things that to help them to grow. And she took them on a little nature trip one day, and they were
Mhm,
coming alongside a brook coming down on the bus. And one of the kids got very excited and he yelled, "Look, guys, Mrs. Parker took us to see the ocean." And it was, every time I think about it, I become emotional,
mhm,
because so many of our children don't see anything larger than a community pool if they are fortunate enough
mhm.
to have a community pool. So, that's why I say I'm looking for those young folks, because they can help, they can change some things in the community, because children that travel they don't get involved with the minutia that's going on, because they look forward to something. And I tell people, just to get a passport for a child means that you give them expectations, because if they've got a passport, they're expecting to use it. And it can keep them from getting involved in some things that is detrimental to their well-being. So that's why I'm looking for those young people to do something like that. Take the children.
Well, I applaud you on that. I know personally that it can make a difference.
Mhm.
I remember when I was a kid, I grew up in the projects and we had a Baptist center. And I was fortunate enough that the minister there helped me to be a part of a number of different things that I otherwise would not have. I got to go to camp one time, spend a week at camp. There's no way if he hadn't made the arrangements that would have happened, because my
Right.
mom certainly didn't have the money. I got to go to see a local opera one
Mhm.
time,
Mhm.
Nutcracker, I
Mhm.
remember, and a number of a little thing that that minister did in that community. And I was fortunate enough to be one of the kids that was selected to go and take part in those things. And I honestly believe it helped shape the
Who they
direction
are.
that I went
Absolutely.
and kept me out of other things that could have
Absolutely.
led me into a whole different era in my life. And sometimes
Absolutely.
when it's just the two of us, I'll tell you about some close calls I
Well,
had.
I absolutely believe in that. And my daughter had a little young boy, and I didn't even realize that he was one of hers. So he would come in the shop and he would pick up things. And so I said, "And what's your name?" And he told me his name. And I would started buying fruit. And he would come in and he would pick up fruit, and he would say, "Can I take some to my sister?" And I say, "Yes." And so one day he was in the shop, and my daughter walked in and she said, "Sean," she said, "I didn't know you know Mrs. Figueroa," because she always made sure that they didn't know we were related.
Mhm,
So he said, "Yo, yes." And so he came. She had a little class going at the library with the children. And so he had stopped by, and I had given him a little necklace from Jamaica with the black and green. So
mhm.
he walked in, and the kid said to him, "Nation, where did you get that?" He said, "I got it from my travel agent." And so the kid said, "Well, what's a travel agent?" He said, "I don't know, but you should have one."
So he became a kind of a little celebrity. He
That's
had done
right.
something that
And you know, and we need to think about things like that. You know, if there's
exactly.
children in the neighborhood, just like your pastor
Hmm.
did for you,
Hmm.
we need to do those kind of things with them. You
Yes, we
know,
do. And we're coming up on the end, but what you have shared with us today, I think is so important, especially for our young people, but even for adults who are looking for a business of their own. And as a person who has worked for almost 50 years for other people and who now finds herself still working when she should be relaxing, I encourage you, work hard for yourself. So tell us, how can we get in touch with you if something that you said has resonated and we want to be a part of it, even if it's just to get some more information?
okay. Well, my name is Ruby Figueroa, and my email is Ruby, RUBY, at JRItravel.com. That's Juliet Romeo India Travel.com. Ruby at JRItravel.com. And my phone numbers are 914-664-1515. And my cell is 914-500-3024. I also have a website where they can go on and leave me a message where I will reach out to them. And that is JRItraveling.com. So I thank you so much for having me on. And I do hope some people have decided this is a great industry to be in, and they can absolutely make a really good living at this while they're enjoying. And as I said to them, you have these dreams of where you want to go, let somebody else pay for it. And LaWanna,
Especially if you like traveling,
and
great way to do it.
one thing I like to say, I
Mhm.
tell everybody I never go on vacations. I go on explorations because it allows me to come back and write it off on my taxes.
Okay.
So
Well, you've heard it here. Thank you so much for joining us, Ruby. I really appreciate you coming here and sharing this information with us. And ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are here, and if you're looking for something, this is a perfect opportunity, because not only are you working hard to help someone else, but you get to attend these things and somebody else pays for it. You can't beat that. Well, I'm LaWanna Parker, and I am the host of Courage to Live Your Dream. We are a part of the Raven International Media Network, and we hope that you will come back again next week. As I always tell you, I want you to be careful out there. Don't take anything for granted. Remember, we need you, and there's somebody else whose very life may depend on you. So take care of yourself and always, always keep the faith.
and thank you, LaWanna, and good night.
You're welcome and good night.
Bye now.